So in the last session, we were discussing about the print function. I hope you remember and following it up. The print function consists of four parts. The word keyword print, which is a predefined word keyword, which has a predetermined meaning, right? Followed by an open parenthesis, a quotation mark, a line of text, another quotation mark, and ended with a closing parenthesis. Each part plays an important role in the code. The keyword print, we see is a function name, which is more flexible in Python functions. So all the Python functions are more flexible and easy to use, and they are meant to cause some effect, which means send the text to the terminals, create a file, draw an image, play a sound, etc. And the functions are also used to evaluate a value or a set of values. These functions are come from three locations. One, the Python itself, which are called as built-in, where the Python environment supports the built-in functions. And we have adds-on called modules. Python functions come from adds-ons, which is named as modules. And thirdly, we can write our own functions, user-defined functions. Okay, so which we need and want to inside the program, and hence all these features make the Python a simpler, clearer, and more elegant programming paradigm. Right? And in this section, we are going to discuss about literals. The third chapter, what we are going to discuss today is about literals. Right. So here, Python literal. Having discussed some of the features offered by the print function in the previous sessions, and now it is time to learn about some new issues and one important new term called literal. Okay. What is a literal? How we can define it? A literal is basically a data. So kindly note, a literal is basically a data that could represent anything. Okay, integer, float, character, or string. So basically, a literal is a data whose values are determined by itself, by literal itself. Okay, so now take a look at the following set of digits. Have a look an example which is highlighted, projected in the slide. Can you guess what value it represents? Can you guess what value does it represent? Int. Fine. Good. It's an integer. I have got few responses from Nikhil and Mehul. Good. It's an integer data. Okay. And more specifically, of course, we can, it is 123. Okay. Now, what about this? Again, guess what value it represents? A character. Fine. Any other views from your side? This letter is supposed to be a character. Fine. It's a good answer. Any other observations from your side? I got few responses. Good. Does it represent any value? Okay. Yes, the character C, it's basically a letter. Fine. Does it represent any value? Okay, so we leave the programming. You are not, assume that you are not in the programming. You are sitting and listening some other sessions, some other classes. A teacher asked, what does C represent? C for 13 in hexadecimal. Good. Okay. You forget about, don't think that you are sitting in the programming session. Okay. So relax your mind. You come out of the sessions. Assume that you are sitting in and listening some other sessions. Could be a mathematics session or a physics session or a chemistry lecture or accountancy. You think from that aspect. What does that letter represent? Okay. Uh, my question is, does it represent any value? Maybe there are many possibilities. One, it can be the symbol of the speed of light. If you ask a physics professor, okay, so what does C represent? So the professor's response, reply should be that's a symbol. Okay, it can be the symbol of the speed of light. The speed of light is represented by the character C. Another example, it can be also a constant of integration. If you ask a mathematics faculty, it's a constant of integration. When you integrate a constant, that results C. For example, integration of 3x square. 3x square is equal to 3 into x cube by divided by 3. 3 will get cancel each other. So the answer is x cube plus C. It's a concept of integration. Or even the length of hypotenuse in the sense of Pythagorean theorem. So, and this, the clue 123 is a literal, a data whose value is determined by itself and C is not. So 123 is a data which is determined by itself. There is no second thought. It's an integer value and the meaning is 123. It will never change. Whereas C is interpreted in different ways. It has a lot of possibilities. As I said, a character, a speed of light, a concept of integration, a length of hypotenuse in the sense of Pythagorean theorem. So it has several values, right? So 123 is a literal and C is not. We use literals to encode data and put them in the code. Is it clear? Okay, fine. Now, so 123 is a literal whose value is determined by itself and C is not a literal, it's a variable, right? Now we can classify the literals. Literals are fundamentally classified into four types: integers, floats, strings, and Boolean values. Hope you have understood the concept of a literal and variable. Literal has a prefixed data, meaning, value, whereas a variable does not have, which is represented in many possibilities, right? And we can classify the literals into four categories, four types. Number one, integers, floats, strings, and Boolean values. Right? So we'll discuss one by one. What is an integer? It's a simple word. So the numbers handled by modern computers are of two types. One is integers and floating points. Integers, that is, those are devoid of the fractional part. Devoid of the fraction. Devoid means without, leaving. Right? Without, if a value is represented without a fractional part, that's called integers, devoid of the fractional part. And the floating point numbers are simply called as floats, which are able to contain the fractional part. Right? And there are two additional conventions in Python that are little known to the world of mathematics. The first one allows us to use the numbers in an octal representation. In an octal presentation, if an integer is preceded by 0, please note it is a 0, and O, the character, either it could be uppercase or lowercase. If an integer is represented by, is preceded by, preceded means prior, okay, an integer. So 0 is an integer. It's preceded by at 0. Integer is preceded by a 0 o or 0 lowercase o. It will be treated as an octal number. This means that number must contain digits taken from 0 to 7 range. Okay, so 0 which takes the range from 0 to 7. It's an octal. Octal means 8. Octal represents the number 8. So which have the range between 0 and 7. Okay, so let us check with an example. I'll open the uh, PyCharm. Right. So since it is a single statement, let me work with the Python console. Okay. So how to check the octal number? As I said, it is starting from 0, O. So print 0, O, any number that falls in between the range of 0 to 7, 1, 2, 3. Print of 0 123. 0 123 is a valid octal number because a number, okay, an integer number 123 is an integer number which falls between the range of 0 to 7, right, is preceded with 0 o 0 o. Okay, o is a character, either it could be a uppercase or lowercase. So print of 0 o 123 is equal to 83. Okay, so the equivalent integer value of the octal is 83. Okay, did you get? So the numbers handled by the modern computers are of two types. Okay, one is integers at the floating points. Integers are those of represented divide of the fraction part, and float contains the fraction part. And there are two additional conventions in Python. There one is octal representation. Any integer that is represented, okay, that is preceded with 0 they are called octal number. So let me one again. Okay, 83. So you can have any, can you please post an valid octal number? Let us check. Okay. So print of 0 123 returns its equivalent integer value. You can post your valid octal number. Let us check whether the print function works or not. Can I have few examples of octal number from your side? So any octal starts with 0 O. So 0 O. Few examples, please. It may, yeah, 0 O 256, 256, 256, right? And its equivalent decimal value is 174. Is it right? The conversion has been right. Can you check? Okay. So we can confirm by interchange the process. Print off. So the result what we have got is 174, an integer. It's a decimal value. 00256 is an octal number because the integer is ranged between 0 to 7 and preceded by 0. Okay. And the result what we have got is 174. It's a decimal value. So can we confirm? Check oct of 174. we should get 00256. So the octal representation of the decimal 174 is written as 00256. So it is right. So, right? The inverse process must be also same. Right? And we have another example, print, yeah, 0015. So the equivalent decimal value is 13, right? And the confirmation can be done with the reverse process. Print, okay, print oct of 13, which returns the octane value. It is 0015. So if an integer number is preceded with 0, it will be treated as an octal value. Right? So it could be checked by using the print function. So print of octal, the value will return its equivalent decimal value, and the reverse could be checked. The conversion process can be verified with applying the octal function, OCT function. So a function means a keyword followed by a pair of parentheses. The parentheses may have arguments. Argument could be integer, float, or character. We pass the arguments, okay, with the help of parameters, supply the value, and it could be processed, right? And the second is hexadecimal. So the second allows us to use hexadecimal numbers. And such numbers should be preceded by a prefix 0x. 0x. Okay. So 0 represents the octal representation, and 0x will return the hexadecimal value. It is 0x, the character, followed by 123. So hexadecimal ranges between 0 to 15 and A to F. Okay, so any number which is preceded by 0x is termed as hexadecimal. And in Python, it's very simple to convert the hexadecimal value. So print of the same way, print of 0x. We have 123, which is equivalent to 291. The decimal equivalent value to the hexa is 291. And the reverse could be confirmed with the print of convert hex of 291 is equal to 0x123. So it's all due to the inbuilt functions, which, as I said, made the Python programming of simpler, clearer, and more elegant. If you like to implement the conversion of decimal to octal, a decimal to hexa, we need to write a big programming, a lot of statement instructions. Accept the first we need to pre-process directives, declare the function, and supply the assign the value, print function, manipulations. You have to apply the formula for the conversion process, decimal to octal. So a big application needs to be developed in a conventional programming, whereas Python, with the support of its functions, built-in functions, okay, modules, and adds-on functions, user-defined functions, make a simpler, clearer, and more elegant language. Right? Is it clear? Any doubts? So integers, we have two types. Number one, int, divide of the fraction part without fraction part, and float, contain the fraction part. So this octal and hexadecimal representation are additional conventions in Python, right? Maybe in the scientific applications, these kind of conversions will be very useful. So as a result, the number of lines in the program in an application will be very less. The less the number of lines will have the faster execution. Okay, the execution time, the speed will be higher. As a result, the application will become more effective, maybe very efficient. The more the number of lines, it takes a lot of time for the execution, and any errors, bugs will be difficult to find, and difficult, and also having maintenance issues. So Python, being a simple, clearer, and elegant language with the support of the functions, help the programmer, help the developer in easy way. Right? The second literal type. Okay, I said literals are okay. Classified into 4 types: integer, floats, strings, and Boolean values. A float, as we have said, it is a with fraction point. This fraction point appears after the decimal value, whereas 4 is an integer and 4.0 is a floating point. Okay, as we have discussed in the previous part. Moving on to the third kind of literal is string. Okay, so the strings include characters also. Characters are individual symbols. When two or more characters are grouped, they are called string, and it is represented with the help of double quotes. Double quotes. So a string form a text. The strings form a text and they are enclosed in between either single quotes or double quotes. So the strings are used when we need to process text, a group of characters, lines, several lines, and not numbers. Right? A simple example: print. This is a string, and they are enclosed in between a pair of double quotes. Right? So the Python can use an apostrophe instead of quote. As said, it's a single quote is called an apostrophe. So either of these characters may delimit the strings. Okay, but we must be consistent, uniform when we use either single quotes or double quotes. Please note, single quotes are also called as apostrophe. Okay, if you are using double quotes, it must be consistent. The pair of quotes must be uniform, right? If you are using the apostrophe, then the same must be also entered at the other end of the string or end of the text. Right? Any doubts? Okay. Another phenomena, a special case in the string. Yes, a string can also be empty, which means the double quotes may have a blank space. It may contain no characters, a blank space. Okay, so anything that is enclosed between double quotes or single quote is called a string. So an empty string still remains a string and a valid value data. Valid literal, we can say. So an empty string may contain no characters at all, which means a blank space, and enclosed between double quotes. Right? Moving on to the next type of literal is Boolean values. To conclude with Python's literal, there are two additional ones. Each time when we ask Python if one number is greater than other, the question results in the creation of some specific data that is called a Boolean value. The name comes from the term Boolean. It's I would like to share a brief history. The name Boolean, which comes from George Boole, who was a famous physician and mathematician, who believed to have existed in the 19th century. Okay, he developed the fundamental work called the Laws of Thought, which contains the definition of Boolean algebra, a part of algebra which makes use of only two distinct values, true or false. And subsequently, these distinct values are represented as 1 and 0. True is represented by 1, integer 1, and the false is represented by 0. Right? So, in order to honor the 19th century physicians and great mathematician George Boole, so these values, the definitions, okay, which are part of algebra and makes the use of two distinct values are called Boolean. Okay. A programmer who writes a program and the program may ask questions. Python executes the program and provides the answers. And the program must be able to react according to the received answers. Fortunately, computers know only two kinds of answers. They are number one, yes, which is true, or no, in case it is false. You will never get a response like I don't know or probably yes. But Python is a binary reptile. Okay, Python is a binary reptile, and the two Boolean values have strict denotations in Python called true or false. True or false. For example, print 10 is less than 20. 10 is less than 20. The output could be written true. Okay, right? Let us check the how it works. Print 10 is less than 20. It is true. 10 is greater than, if we change, 10 is greater than 20. False. So these two Boolean values have strict notations in Python and returns either true or false. So we can take these symbols as include. Kindly note that true and false are case sensitive. They are keywords, user-defined words. The first character must be always uppercase. Okay, so all the keywords in Python programming are represented by lowercase letters except Boolean values. Boolean values, the two keywords are the only two having the first character as uppercase. The remaining all the keywords are of lowercase letters. Right? Any doubts? Any doubts in the literals? So we have discussed the literal. As said, literals are handled in the computers having four classifications: integers, floats, string, and Boolean values. Right? Okay. So in this session, we started with the introduction to literal. A literal is a data whose value are determined by itself, which cannot change, and the four classification of literals with examples. Right?